A pastor or associate pastor in Ohio is facing some criticism after he decided to teach some of the young parishioners about Jesus by encouraging them to spit on him and use a knife to cut him. Now, luckily, he didn't get hurt. I don't know why he thought this was a good idea. And apparently the church is launching an internal investigation. Jaddeus Dempsey is the name of the associate pastor at Impact City Church in Ohio. And he claims, look, I was just trying to teach them about what Jesus had to go through for us. But I think you can do that without encouraging young people to physically harm others. Now, one of the young parishioners, who's only 12 years old, said, he was like, I don't want you to go crazy with it, but I do want you to slice it down my back and make me bleed. Wow. And then she continues to say, Jesus did that for us so we wouldn't have to go through it. And that's the part I don't understand. So she, as a 12-year-old, understands how creepy and weird this is, and luckily other parents do. So again, there's an internal investigation going on. But with that said, the lead pastor at the church did open up about this incident, and here's what he has to say.
Jaddeus got up in front of the students, and he says, I'm gonna ask you to do something that might seem a little crazy, but if there's anyone here that would like to spit in my face, you can do so without any repercussions. And several of the students took him up on it. Jaddeus offered, if there's anyone here that would like to slap me, you can do so without any repercussions. Several of the students slapped him. Jaddeus offered, if there's anyone here that would like to cut me, you can do so without any repercussions. Jaddeus pulled out a steak knife, and one of the students cut him on his back.
So if you're watching,
Jaddeus likey.
If you're watching the video version of this show, I know some of you podcast, Jaddeus is the man sitting right behind the lead pastor. And it's weird having the lead pastor talk about what happened as if Jaddeus is right
third
behind
person,
him.
right next to him.
He's like right behind him, looking awkwardly into the camera. And so I wanted to show you what the lead pastor had to say about what actually occurred that day. But he's gonna get into what some of the consequences will be in just a minute. But I wanted you guys to jump in a little bit and share your thoughts.
Well, okay, so he went through all the things, and we'll get to what our associate pastor had to say of how it went down, I think. So I'll save that part for later because I have some thoughts. But so he went through all of it, and as this was happening in the video, children are laughing. They're like, oh my God, is this real? Like, the discomfort, again, I assume they're all around the same age because they invite kids over after school. This is their whole thing, to hang out, and they give them 5 minutes of, well, I forget what the term they use, but our submission of faith or something like that. Our deposit of faith is what they call it, into the kids.
Your BDSM of faith.
It's crazy. So you have to start having some kind of recognition of what you sound like.
Jesus was a freak, okay?
It's weird.
Jesus was a freak. Let's just get that out of the way. First of all, if my youth pastor, who I knew was full of it at the time, I only lasted couple years. I really just did it to hang out with, boys. Because that's why people do things at age 14. If he was like, spit in my face, I'd be like, yes, this is amazing. No repercussions. I can hit you. I can slap my pastor. I've been wanting to do that for so long. I think that we should institute this. All pastors should be able to be slapped on Easter Sunday.
It's so crazy. This is out of control. I mean,
it happens more than it should.
There's something. I'm just gonna say it. Like, what if this associate pastor gets some sort of sexual gratification from it? There needs to be a real investigation, in my opinion, right? And if not, sorry to interrupt you, if not, you're like encouraging young people to use violence, to carry out some sort of religious lesson. That's crazy.
Yeah, you're only thinking that because a lot of people are thinking that, because this is weird.
Did he call them Jews while they were doing it?
I don't think so.
Just like, the Jews are killing me. No, listen, I mean, this is the thing with Easter. It's like, yeah, don't do this. go out and hunt for plastic eggs that a giant rabbit stole from a chicken and then hid in your backyard.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. I'm in favor of that.
How is that Easter at all?
It's not, but I'll take
this
that.
is a little bit more
Why is
Easter.
this the kind of teaching that needs to have so much proof? You know, like we talked about Steve King yesterday, representative from Iowa, racist, who said, "Oh, I'm like Jesus. I get Jesus now because I get how he felt because I went through all this on Easter." It's really weird. Why do you have to put yourself in their place? So there's this weird Jesus complex these guys have, and they want to take his place and they want to feel it.
Does that mean Steve King wants to climb up and be nailed to a cross? Because I'm not saying we wouldn't enjoy that or we would enjoy that.
What are the ways that we teaching kids that we don't have to prove things to them by cutting someone's spitting in someone's face and slapping them? Hey, kids believe in Santa Claus, but we don't say, hey, so you know what? We're gonna get on the roof and we're gonna get in this sleigh and we're gonna try and take off like Santa does. They believe it. You don't have to prove it to them by making them cut you, slap you, and spit on you. You're getting something from that. That is not a teaching.
Let's watch more from the lead pastor.
After Jaddeus allowed them to spit on him and slap him and cut him, he sat them down and explained to them about this guy named Jesus. We believe that Jesus had the power at any point to stop them, to stop those that were hurting him. But he chose to allow it to happen. He chose to allow them to spit on him and beat him and crucify him in order to take the payment of our debt that we call sin. So Jaddeus, in an effort to share that message of love through the gospel and the story of Jesus' crucifixion, he shared this illustration and tried to share in some of the pain that Jesus took on that day. Now, although the intent was honorable, it wasn't appropriate for our student gathering today.
How do you know the intent was honorable? You don't know the intent was honorable,
I
right?
can think of 5,000 different ways you could show that. You could, okay, Thaddeus, just stand there, dude, shirt on, man. Keep your shirt on because you're around children and like, you know, that's the appropriate thing to do. Then they can just yell at you. They can call you names.
No,
they can.
I don't want any of it though.
No, but I'm saying, okay, listen, if you believe that Jesus endured all of these horrible things and you want to show that, okay, then you say, I'm gonna stand still and you can say names, call me names. I'm going to like walk with a giant, I don't know what, cross or like, you know, and the fact that I'm not going to respond to you shows you the, you know, Jesus's wherewithal. I'm a horrible Sunday school teacher, but something like that. Wherewithal, his stamina. That's not a good word either.
I just think that you don't need to carry out physical actions to help kids understand the severity of historical events, right? So, I mean, we all know what the severity of the Holocaust was. We didn't need our educators to put us into a gas chamber to make us understand that.
True.
And so this is part of the reason why I'm not really buying what his intent was to educate these kids. And look, we're not showing you the video of what happened. NBC News reported it, and we don't have the rights to show you the video. But you watch it, and it's just, it comes off as something completely different from what he claims it is. That's just my take. I could be wrong.
What did he have to say? Maybe he was actually heart in the right place. Can we see what he had to say?
Sure, let's watch. Next video.
I am so sorry for misrepresenting the community, the church, the parents, the students, anybody that I hurt. Is not my intention. My intention was just to show them how much Jesus loved them and that I love them as a student leader for almost 4 years now. And tonight was an anomaly. It is not normally what happens. And again, I am deeply sorry for the pain that I've caused.
So we apologize for the confusion, for the harm, and for any just hurt that we may have caused you or our community that we love so much.
So I just want to note that it is kind of shocking that Macklemore went from his like singing career to being a lead pastor somewhere.
Honestly, and that like Harrison Ford is now an associate pastor. Like between the two of them.
Anyway, whole story creeps me out. I don't like it, and I kind of want to
think about it this way. We will, but he said it was what you didn't see at the beginning of the associate pastor. He goes, "It was my choice alone. I just started doing it. It was off the cuff." You had a steak knife in your pocket that you pulled out and handed to children.
Sometimes.
That was just I like walking around
What
with
if you
steak
encounter
knives
steak?
in my pocket.
Jayar, you never know when a steak is gonna appear and then you need a knife.
This is long planned.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.